Hi guys, I hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're looking at some more r/am I the butthole. If you're new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe, just maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. And a huge thank you to the members of our channel, and you're not going to believe it, we've got another new member. Emma Jones, thank you so much for joining us. You're truly appreciated, and so are the rest of the members of our channel. Thank you for being here. As we've talked about recently, YouTube is going to be removing the poll system from videos by tomorrow, so they're all going to disappear, which is quite annoying. But we're going to be trying out an off-site poll system, which I will be putting the links in the description below for you to try out and let me know your thoughts on that. So you will have to let me know what you think of that, and we'll have to judge it from there because I can't really tell what's going to happen just yet. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from Old Potato Bless Me. Am I the arsehole for ruining a old man's reputation? After he altered a story where I asked him to clean up after his dog to make me look like the bad guy. Note, since people asked this was translated, he was a bit ruder in my native tongue. Edit, sorry I can't keep up with the comments anymore. I love dogs. We have a rescue pitty we've had for 8+ years, plus a foster. I see an old man, his words, early 60s, chatting with my neighbour. His dog has no leash. His dog peed on the side of my car. I grab a bucket plus shampoo plus sponge and walk outside. The neighbour says, "Hello OP, washing the car again?" I, in a friendly way, say, "Actually, your mate's dog just peed all over my car door. I would appreciate," and I get cut off. The man says, "My dog? He wouldn't do that." I said, "Sir, I just watched him do it. If you look at the door, you can see the pee on there, a puddle," and he's cut off again. The man says, "No, don't accuse my dog. Everyone has dogs, maybe it was your own." I said, "Again, I saw him. The golden with the red collar is your dog, correct?" It was that dog. The man at full volume, "My dog did not pee on your car." I said, "Well, I'm certain he did. No damage done yet. It still washes off. I got you some soapy water. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds." The neighbour says to the man, "Just wash it off. Accidents happen." He says, "I'm not washing this kid's car. He can wash it himself." I do not look like a kid. I said, "I'm not asking you to wash my car, just his pee." The man with some trash talk, "I'm not your servant. My dog did not pee on your door. I am not washing it." I said, "So that's also not him pooping in my different neighbour's yard then? Maybe you should walk him first, then chat." The man calls the dog, "Come here," dragging the dog out of the yard by his collar, who was still pooping, or stepping on the plants, dragging dirt all over the sidewalk, then started walking off. I said, "Pick up that mess, dude." And he said, "Fuck you, you can clean up yourself." I said, "Stop acting like such an ass." The man walks back, while basically telling me to go fuck myself, knocks over my bucket and walks away. My sponge got sand in it and was ruined. I ended up washing my car door. Neighbour got a broom and cleaned the sidewalk. Later he posted a nasty topic on a neighbourhood info/watch app. He obviously didn't expect me to be on there. He fabricated a story that I'm a dog hater that tried to force a rheumatic old man to clean his entire car while he was just walking past. He was afraid of me now, blah blah. Mention my name/info too. I replied with screenshots of him, security cam, with his dog peeing on my car, plus picked out the worst looking screenshots of him getting in my face, knocking over my bucket, also one of him dragging his dog away by its neck that caused a big backlash, and wrote what really happened. My neighbour thinks I went too far because some of our neighbourhood people are apparently after him on the app, now sending nasty messages. He said I made it look worse than it was by picking those specific images, that he was just a grumpy man having a bad day. I feel justified though, because he tried to paint me off as a horrible person and I just stated the truth. Am I the arsehole? P.S. I did not add his info, despite him adding mine. I would personally have to say not the arsehole in this situation, just simply because the dog peed on your car and he shitted in someone else's yard, man. If you can't look after your dog properly and you're not carrying like bags and stuff to clean up mess, then you shouldn't leave it off the leash. You need to learn to be a more responsible dog owner. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to click the first link to vote in the description below. Our next story comes from Daimiap. I think I got the name right. Am I the arsehole for posting the video of the mayor of my town driving like an idiot to YouTube? I have a dash cam and sometimes upload videos of dumb shit I see to YouTube. Anyway, I was driving home from work a few days ago and saw a really expensive Audi cut across 3 lanes in one move and cut into the exit lane I was in, barely squeezing in between me and the start of the barrier. I slammed the brakes and there wasn't any accident, but it shook me up. It was the closest call I've ever had. The driver pulled off into a gas station and I pulled over by the side of the road so I could turn my dash cam and get a clear video of the driver's face as he pumped gas so I could confirm his identity. I had been wanting to make a report for reckless driving because the guy had almost caused a really bad accident. I'd never reported something before, but this was probably the scariest close call I'd ever had, and I thought it'd be a good idea to. I reported it to the police non-emergency line and they said they'd get back to me, but I didn't hear anything yet. I also put the video on YouTube titled "Crazy Audi Driver in Hometown Name." Anyway, a few days later someone commented on the video saying that was the mayor. I didn't believe it at first, then I looked at pictures of him and was certain. It was definitely the same guy. He'd even been photographed by a local reporter near his Audi. I edited the video title and description and said it was the mayor of the town. And I guess because it's such a small town and the video got shared around, it's one of the earlier results if you look this guy up. It's apparently gotten shared in some Facebook groups like a local mothers group and a community group, and the guy is getting a lot of shit for it. I didn't see the repost myself, I'm not on Facebook. But I got a call from one of the mayor's employees asking me to take it down. I said I'd like to talk to the guy, like I just wanted to have a chat with the person who nearly killed me, and then wouldn't even call me himself to apologise. And she got really defensive but also formal like, "I'm afraid that isn't possible at the moment." Anyway, some of my co-workers think it was kind of shitty of me to follow the guy, film him and put his name on the internet. And I guess I get that, but I also feel like as a public figure and representative, this guy should be held to a higher standard. Am I the arsehole for leaving the video of the mayor driving like an idiot up on YouTube? I'm going to read this comment from Dread Squidrid. "Putting this here so OP sees it, not the arsehole, and you keep that video up. If the way he drives is any indication, we can say it's clearly obvious that he thinks a few rules don't apply to him. Of the road, of physics and velocity, of manners, and probably planning because he almost missed his exit. Let him go through every tedious motion and process required to have it taken down, so that maybe he'll finally understand what it feels like to follow the rules. Then post this in r/petty revenge." I kind of agree with OP's last line there where he said, you know, he's a government official, he should be held to a higher standard, he should be following the rules and should be an example to the people, not the arsehole in this situation. But again, you guys should let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to click story 2 in the link in the description. Our next story is from Pia Liania. "Am I the arsehole for grilling my son's new girlfriend and telling him I don't approve? My son, male 20, has been dating a girl he goes to university with for about 6 months now. She's an international student from New Zealand, but has family here so is staying with them during the virus. Due to lockdown restrictions and such, we hadn't met her until a couple of nights ago when I invited her over dinner with my family. We had FaceTimed a few times but not spoken a lot. My husband and I are very Catholic and traditional, but spent a lot of our 20s travelling the world, including New Zealand. We visited her hometown, so asked her a few questions about it, which she happily answered. But when I asked her about her Maori heritage and family, she became quite uncomfortable and said she didn't know a whole lot about it, which I find hard to believe. We asked her if she was religious, she laughed and said no. We asked her about a degree which she seemed very passionate about, but it's a fashion degree which isn't exactly going to get her very far, in comparison to my son who is a law student. It's clear she loves my son and it's mutual, and my other children adored her, but I don't think she's the right fit for my son. Her parents were both 16 when they had her, and she's very open with the fact that they have a strong dislike for each other and haven't spoken since she was 6 months old. She also seemed to have a very bizarre relationship with each of her parents. After dinner, she went and played Monopoly with my daughters and sons and made a couple of crude jokes, as well as laughing at my son, her boyfriend, when he lost. My son asked me if she could stay, and I said she could as long as she slept in a separate room, which he said was ridiculous as they're both 20 and are living together next year. She decided to leave as she didn't feel welcome. After she left, I told my son I didn't approve and that I could set him up with a nice girl from my church if he preferred, but he said he loves her and was furious I'd even suggest it. My other son, who's 16, heard me and said he really liked her. My husband said that even if I felt like that, I shouldn't vocalise it because it's clear my son loves her. I understand that, but he should be with someone more suitable for our family in my opinion. Am I the arsehole? Oh my god. Well, let's jump into the comments, shall we? Our first comment is from One Lonely String Bean. So let's get this straight. You interrogated her about religion and her heritage the first time meeting her, suggested your son date someone else after she left, and you're wondering why she didn't feel welcome. You're the asshole. Taco Belly says, he should be with someone more suitable for our family. Oof. We'll definitely be reading about you on r/justnomil. Death Pumpkin says, my parents were just like this with every person I dated. It made me want to hide a bunch of relationships. I took a SO home because they always did this, and it made me feel like their ideas and religion were more important than their own kids. They went ballistic when I came out of the closet. I'm going on a year of no contact now. This is a good way to lose your son. You're the arsehole. As soon as I got to like the fashion degree thing where you're talking about she isn't going to get very far in comparison to your son who's a law student, automatically made me think you're the arsehole in this situation, and it just got worse from there. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on story 3 in the description. Our next story is from Am I the Arsehole Gold Mum. Am I the arsehole for pointing out my mum is much of a gold digger as my sister's boyfriend? My 21 female mum, 53, met my dad, 54, in college. My dad comes from old family money, but my mum's family was very middle class. But when my sister, 24, and I were growing up, my mum acted like she had always been upper class and is very snobbish. I remember how we'd go to dinner with her siblings and she would insist on choosing the restaurant to make sure it was up to her standards, make a big show of paying the bill, and then would shit talk her siblings and their spouses/kids the whole way home, making fun of their clothes, cars, jobs, you name it. She always placed an importance on whoever was the wealthiest/had the best family, and wouldn't let my sister and I hang out with kids after school who weren't up to her standards. It made our relationship a little strained, especially since she obsesses about the things today. But she's my mum, and I love her. Anyways, due to the virus, I'm staying with my parents since my college sent everybody home. My sister is living in another state, but we have family Zoom calls once a week. On one of the early Zoom calls, my sister told us that she had a new boyfriend, and they ended up moving in together for quarantine. My sister has her own apartment, which my parents pay for partially. They go to the same law school, and he seemed very sweet when we talked to him. My mum started him with a parent/childhood/plans line of questioning. He told her he'd gotten a scholarship for a law school since his dad was a construction worker and his mum was a preschool teacher, and that he grew up in a small town. My mum was super chilly to him after this, and afterwards went on a rant about how he wasn't good enough for sister, and how he just wants her money after all. My dad and I thought she'd stop, but she did this every single call, super cold to a perfectly nice guy, and ranting and talking trash about him afterwards. She did the whole thing again after our most recent call, and I was pretty fed up. I asked her to stop saying that stuff, and she said it was the truth, that he was just a gold digger. I asked her how she was different from him, since she grew up a lot like him, and asked if she just wanted dad's money after all. She got super upset with me, and didn't tell me to get out or anything, but she's sort of ignoring me since, and makes passive aggressive comments, or mentioning how she's been crying. My dad talked to me after dinner and said that I really hurt her feelings, and she just wants to make sure my sister ends up with a good guy, even if she doesn't seem like it. He said that she was just trying to be a good mum and I upset her. I feel really bad. She can be annoying at times, but she is my mum and I don't want to hurt her. Am I the arsehole? Edit. Wow, thank you to everyone who replied. I did not expect this many comments. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can, but it may take a while. I really appreciate all the help, and I'll definitely use some of your scripts next time she starts ranting about my sister's boyfriend. I personally think that mum needed to hear a bit of home truth. I think it might do her some good, might realise where she's going wrong here, and I think you're totally justified in doing that. But what do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on story 4 in the description below. Our next story is, am I the arsehole for absolutely despising my physically disabled brother? When I was 13, my parents had my younger brother. They only intended on having one child, me, but he was a happy surprise. The main reason they only had one child is because my mum is a Duchenne muscular dystrophy carrier and didn't want to risk having a boy and him having it. My brother was born and my mum started noticing signs when he was about 2, when he went on to be diagnosed with DMD. I'm now 20 and my brother is 7. My parents have always massively babied him. He has little to no discipline and does whatever he wants and gets away with it because my parents don't want to spend the entire time they have with him telling him he can't do things he wants to. I've never connected with him at all. It's an awkward age gap and we have absolutely nothing in common. As well as that, I went from being the only child for 13 years to having a brother that required a lot of extra attention, and I resented him for it during my teenage years. Over the past year or so, he has deteriorated greatly and a lot quicker than he was expected to. He can't walk and requires a wheelchair, which meant giving up on my bedroom downstairs after 20 years of it being mine. In all honesty, I find it quite embarrassing having so much of equipment for him in the house, so I rarely bring friends around. He's already started showing signs of heart deterioration, which means my parents are constantly worried and rarely have time for me. With the rate at which he's deteriorating, he's not expected to live past his teenage years. A few nights ago, I was doing some work for college. I'm a key worker, so I just got home from an 8-hour shift and was absolutely exhausted. I went downstairs with my laptop and my mum and my brother were in the kitchen watching something. My mum asked me to watch him so she could go to the bathroom and I, as a joke, said, "It's not like he can go anywhere, he's not strong enough to move his own wheelchair." And she told me off and left. I was trying to do work when my brother just kept asking me to do stuff with him. As I said, we don't have a relationship and I was trying to do work so I just ignored him. He kept pestering me and eventually said, "Why'd you never spend time with me?" And I responded by telling him it's because I didn't like him. My mum walked back in at that exact moment and grabbed my arm and pulled me upstairs before saying if I ever spoke to my brother like that again, she'd kick me out. I told her it's not like she'd notice anyway because she never talks to me. We haven't spoken since and apparently my brother is upset. Am I the asshole? Holy shit, man. I don't think I'd be able to vocalise this one properly without bursting into tears, so I'm just going to read a couple of comments on this one. New York Dancer says, "You're the arsehole. Sorry, but here's a dead man rolling. He may be spoiled, but so apparently are you. Every over 18 pays for their accommodation somehow. The only payment you're required to do is be nice to a dying boy, and maybe spend an hour a day with him. Cheapest rent I've ever heard." Sturborg says, "Yep, I came here to say," and he quotes, "In all honesty, I find it quite embarrassing having so much equipment for him in the house, so I rarely bring friends around." Then he says, "Then get your own place. All your problems can be solved if you moved out." Followed by Punky Blue Llama, "Yep, oh my god, OP is embarrassed by a dying baby brother. Let me play the world's tiniest violin and then throw it at her. You're the arsehole, a massive, massive arsehole." Followed by Tu Shen, who mocks the post by saying, "It's all so awkward. I have nothing in common with this dying child who totally stole my thunder." You're a full-grown adult, OP. Move the fuck out if your brother's suffering and your parents' grief is such a huge inconvenience to your lifestyle. Also, yes, you're the arsehole. Man, that poor kid. I hope OP does read these comments and then realise what an arsehole they're being and somehow make it up with her brother, because she'll regret this further down the line, man. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on story 5 in the description below. Although, if this doesn't go the way I'm thinking, I'm going to be pissed. Anyway guys, thank you for being here today. If you did enjoy today's stories, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell if you enjoyed the content, of course. There's another video on your screen as I'm speaking right now. Don't forget to click it, watch another one, treat yourself, why not, right? And I will see you in the next one. Much love, guys.